There's a new Gravel video. There's a new... I'm saying there's a new Gravel video. You heard Gravel were a bunch of Putinist bitches. We'll see. We will see. This one's about the LAPD, though. This just dropped a few minutes ago, I think. Here we go. Hold on, buckle up, buttercups. Why the LAPD keeps accidentally killing people. Accidentally? I don't know. I'm skeptical of that. Here we go. Uh-oh.
Calling 911 on 514. I had a hostile customer in my store attacking customers. 121.
May have to blur. I gotta blur.
Right before Christmas, LAPD went into a Burlington coat factory in North Hollywood, California, and murdered two people, Daniel Luna Lopez and Valentina Orellana Peralta. They went in there with no regard for human life, with no attempt to de-escalate, and they murdered two people.
Breaking news, police opened fire at a North Hollywood department store, killing a suspect and an innocent teenage girl.
A tragic end to an attack by a man in a Burlington clothing store. As police opened fire on the man, a bullet struck and killed a 14-year-old.
Probably a little bit quiet.
Girl.
So if you look at the video, you see someone who
attacked by a man
is ready to kill someone. He sort of, goes to the back of the vehicle, he gets the gun out, make sure it's loaded and checks everything, and he's going in there with a mission. He's going to kill someone, and I doubt he's actually caring about who he actually kills. You see him pass, this sort of fun little picture of a black family, and he goes up this escalator, partners his other cops there. They have some awareness of the situation that there are other people in the store. If you look at the video again, the less than lethal is there. There's a cop there waiting to, shoot someone with a less than lethal, which we know
Can you imagine being this cringe, Ross?
can cause a lot of damage to people. We know that it can incapacitate people, but they chose to escalate the situation as they always do.
You got it? You got it? Yeah. I know. Okay. He's hitting right on the right-hand side.
You can hear his partner say stuff like, "Hold up," and "Slow down." But the officer, who we now know as Officer Jones, just starts firing.
Shots fire.
He fires a couple of shots, and one of them did not hit Daniel. One of them hit a wall that ended up being the wall to a dressing room that then hit Valentina. And if you really listen closely with some headphones on, you can hear the screams of Valentina's mother after Valentina has just been shot. The de-escalation never crossed his mind. There's not a moment where he takes a pause, where he takes a step back, where he talks to someone, says, "Hey, what's the situation?" He's going in there with the intent to kill him. As soon as he finds who he's looking for, he doesn't even care to check on the person who's down and bleeding. He actually is just there to shoot the guy, Daniel. Had they sort of hit Daniel with a less than lethal, Valentina would still be here. They would have incapacitated him, arrested him, and that would have been the end of it. Unfortunately, we lost Valentina that day to the LAPD, but unfortunately, that wasn't the first time it happened. My name is Albert Corrado, and my innocent sister Melly Corrado was murdered by the LAPD in 2018.
Damn.
Now at 5, you are looking live at breaking news from Silver Lake, a police standoff at a crowded Trader Joe's store.
Police dash cam shows how quickly it all happened. Suspect Gene Atkins firing at officers. They fire back. In slow motion, From a police body cam, you can see the door to Trader Joe's opening. You do not clearly see Melly Corrado.
No.
She is shot, goes back in, and collapses. Shot by an LAPD officer.
Ooh. Such fucking
My sister
idiots.
was killed because this guy, Gene Atkins, had kidnapped his girlfriend. He'd shot his grandmother a few times and stolen her car. And someone had reported the car stolen and reported what had just happened. And the cops met up with him and they pursued him for about 45 minutes. He took him on a ride all over LA. They had many chances to kind of apprehend him or to do some maneuvers to kind of incapacitate his car. And they chose not to. And finally, they kind of came into Silver Lake. His tire had blown out, and it crashed into a pole outside of the Trader Joe's. And he decided to get out of the car and run inside of the Trader Joe's. They say that he shot at them while he was getting out of the car to go into Trader Joe's, but that's never been proven. But he ran inside, and as he was running inside, the LAPD chose to escalate the situation and to fire inside of the grocery store.
Into an
And one
open
of those
fucking door.
bullets hit Gene Atkins. It hit him in the arm, and he survived and is now facing trial. But one of those bullets hit my sister Melly, who was responding to what she thought was a car accident. When the car crashed into the pole, she thought someone was there who needed help. And so she went out to go help them, told everybody in the store, "I've got this, don't worry about it." And because of that, she was shot by one of LAPD's bullets. Within 45 minutes, she was gone. She had been shot and in a place where she bled out and she died.
You cannot fucking believe this shit. These are the worst fucking cops. Not that any of them are any good, but like, what the fuck? Shooting into an open door? What is the deal with these fucking sickos? Fuck this shit.
All I can say about Melly is that, she knew how to make people feel loved. The times I miss her the most are when I'm having a birthday party, when I'm having some celebration of life. She always knew how to make you feel special on your special day. She always knew how to make you feel like you were the only person in the world that mattered. And I think that's the thing I miss most about her. We all woke up thinking it'd be a normal day. A year ago, Melly woke up, she went to work, and she never made it back home. The reaction of the LAPD was basically to wash their hands of it. So initially they had told the LA Times that Gene Atkins, the suspect, was the one who killed Melly. We knew that wasn't true. Everyone in the store knew it wasn't true. We had been told by people who were inside of the store, who had seen Melly get shot from a bullet that came in through the door, that it was not Gene Atkins. It was the LAPD. From the offset, they were trying to deny responsibility. They were trying to say it was someone else's fault. And their sort of, response to us was basically, we're really sorry. This happens and policing is tough, but that he was a bad guy and we were trying to stop him. And we're really sorry about your sister. I mean, Mayor Garcetti and a couple people and Police Chief Moore held a press conference kind of telling the world what had happened. And they were, again, mournful and regretful and we're so sorry. But never was there a time where they were, criticizing the officers who did it. There was two officers who were in pursuit of Gene Atkins, and one of them fired the fatal bullet. They both fired into the store, but they're still on the force as of today. That nothing was done. There was no, obviously no prosecution. They were not fired. They got 2 weeks off to fill out paperwork. The two officers who killed Melly, actually, one of them got $14,000 worth of overtime in 2018 when Melly was killed. The other got $7,000 in overtime, on top of being paid close to $100,000, and then on top of being paid another $37,000 in benefits. So they were, one of them cleared $150,000 the year they killed Melly. The other, cleared a little less than that, but they were still on the force. They were still out there. The officer is never charged. Nothing is done to change it, and there's no accountability.
I feel like the top of my head is about to explode.
Do you feel any remorse for the cop that killed your sister?
You know what? I gotta say, if that cop if the cop who killed Melly is watching this, if you're looking for forgiveness, you will find none here. To me, they are an agent of a white supremacist system that all it does is bleed money from communities and cities, and it kills people. It incarcerates people. It does things to justify its own existence. It does things in the name of the policing apparatus. So to me, I don't have any sort of remorse for this person. I don't feel bad for this person because they chose to do that. They chose to escalate the situation. And to me, I'm a believer in that if you make a decision, you have to live with that decision. I hope that you are haunted for the rest of your life. I hope that you relive that moment, because I am reliving that moment. My father is reliving that moment. Everybody who knew Melly is reliving the moment that you chose to take her life. And that's why I always say it's a murder. Melly was murdered. She was not just killed by the LAPD. She was murdered because they intended to kill someone, and they killed someone. So, 2018, July 21st was when Melly was killed.
Man.
She was murdered by the LAPD. A little over 3 years later, we have the murder of Valentina Orellana Peralta happening in basically almost the exact same instance. Cop goes into a store and fires and doesn't care who he hits. And that there has been no change in the way that they react to these things, I think shows that there's not a desire to change. There's not a desire to be held accountable, to do anything in a manner that would save more people. I mean, I think we need to have this conversation of whether police are actually doing what they're supposed to do, right? I mean, all we've ever done is either blindly support the police and give them money to do what they keep doing, or we say, well, we're going to reform these people. We're going to reform them and give them more training, which ultimately means more money. The more money you give to police, the more people die. That is the simplest calculus I can give you. It is not hyperbole. It is not exaggeration. It is the truth. The more money that the police gets, the more people who are going to be killed, because they are emboldened by that. They are emboldened by city council, by politicians, by just the media. I'm an abolitionist. To me, policing is not doing any service to the people of this country, of this city. When you take money from communities and give it to the policing apparatus, you are taking away people's livelihood. The issue is not we don't want public safety. It's that we want it in a way that is equitable for everybody, that doesn't sacrifice people like Melly, people like Valentina. So a lot of people, I think, are kind of waking up to the fact that policing will never serve us, and for us to try to ask them to serve us is futile and foolish at this point. We have to start scraping away at it before we actually start to build something new. You don't just say tomorrow, okay, police are gone and now let's, it's obviously not going to happen that quickly. And we know as abolitionists that it's a long road, but we have to continually prove to people that once you take a big chunk from here, then things will get better. It has to be an experiment. It has to be us being bold and brave and saying we need to try something new, because the alternative is we keep this system that exists that is not helping anybody, and then it will not just be Melly, Corrado, or Valentina. So we have to have this conversation that we have to prove it to you. We're going to take money from here, we're going to put it there, and you're going to see exactly how much better life is going to be. After Melly was killed, I did a lot of grieving and searching and trying to figure out what my life was going to be. And, after about a year of doing that, I realized that not only would I be Melly's grieving brother, I would become her biggest advocate. And so I got involved in a lot of, social justice stuff and local community organizing. And one day it kind of hit me, I'm learning that policing is such a big issue that affects every other issue in a city. Homelessness and housing and everything, park services, everything goes back to policing because they take so much of the money. They're so ingrained in every part of our lives. And so I thought, I know that LA City Council is one of the most powerful city councils in the country. They oversee 4 million people. They have tons of resources, and why not try to run for one of those seats? So I decided to run for city council. I filed in September of 2020 because I knew that, if my goal is to get rid of the LAPD, to build the just world in Melly's name and the name of all these other people who've been killed by police, that I would have to use every approach that I possibly could. And I've always seen my race for city council as an avenue that I can take to get what the justice that I think Melly deserves, and the path to abolition can start at city council. My sort of strategy of running for city council is talking about my lived experience, because ultimately that's all we kind of have. I didn't go to college, I didn't go to nice schools or have my path written out for myself. I just kind of, I was forced into this world. I was brought into this world by a horrific tragedy, and so to me, this is now who I am. I went from being sort of, slightly maybe-ish political Albert to now this is my life's work, and I will never not be involved in some sort of movement to bring the end to policing, whether that's city council or 10 other things I could be working on. This is just who I am now, and it's there's times where I wish I would have found myself to the work while Melly was still alive, and it didn't take this big horrific tragedy, and but unfortunately that's my life, and I have to live with that.
The protest outside of the Trader Joe's in Silver Lake.
They were calling it the March for Melly. We had some video to show you earlier where there were several hundred people outside of the Trader Joe's here in Silver Lake.
All I can do is try to make up for the years that I should have been out there marching for people, marching for Trayvon Martin or Oscar Grant. I should have been there, but I wasn't. And so now I just have to give myself to this movement, and that's what I plan to do.
Yeah. I don't know how to add anything to that. Whew, that rocked me. These cops are terrible. Like, they're not even... It just hurts. It just hurts, Cop didn't even care they had a body cam either. Yeah. My gosh. It didn't stop them, all right? Right? Got people yelling at them to calm down or whatever. Like, come on. Just bang it, just shooting all over the place. It's like you didn't stop to think. What the fuck could go wrong? They never stop and think. They shoot first and then they think later. Mind-boggling. Cannot stand it. All right. Fade out.